It might sound weird, but fake it till you make it is actually really good advice. In today's episode, I'll talk about why. But first, I'd like to start with a quote by the late, great Kurt Vonnegut, artist and author of many great literary works. We are what we pretend to be, so we must be careful about what we pretend to be. I'll be honest, I used to really hate the advice, fake it till you make it. I heard it all the time, and at best, it was an empty sort of thing that people said to sound smart. It just seemed like an empty saying, like to be clever or whatever. And at worst, it seemed really dishonest and deceptive, this idea. It seemed like you'd be conning people, going out there faking, pretending, and just hoping that you could brainwash everybody into thinking that you knew what you were doing. And so I thought it was a load of hooey, the whole thing. I was not impressed, not with it, not down. But I've come to realize through learning about some of the psychological research behind identity and performance and personal growth that it isn't about faking it for other people. It isn't about convincing other people that you know what you're doing. It's about convincing yourself. It's about confidence. It's about giving yourself the confidence to practice and get better, to get that experience, instead of putting that pressure on yourself that, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Surrendering to imposter syndrome, letting that feeling of, oh gosh, I'm a fraud, everybody's going to find out about me. It's kind of taking that feeling, that imposter syndrome, and it's saying, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to wing it. I'm just going to go and I'm going to practice and I'm going to try and I'm going to improve. Because I don't know about you, but I have struggled a lot with imposter syndrome, and I've had times where I've been very confident and very good and very experienced at things, and I still felt like a fake. So if I didn't fake it till I make it, I would never do anything. Seriously. But other than that, there's something called self-signaling that ties into psychology that's very important to be aware of. So I don't know if you've ever heard the saying, actions speak louder than words. Basically, it's really easy to lie, to tell people something and then do another. And if somebody looks at what you said and what you did, the thing you did is far more honest than what you said if those two things conflict. Actions speak louder than words. It's kind of the same thing as put your money where your mouth is, right? If you can't follow through on something you said, then you probably weren't being honest. But it's not just when it comes to other people. This also is true when it comes to our relationship with ourselves. So we can say to ourselves, you know what, I'm gonna do this thing. I am gonna start a YouTube channel. I'm gonna post once a week. I'm going to have these parameters on my videos. I'm gonna spend this much time learning every week. I'm gonna get this much better every week. And I'm gonna keep with it. And I'm gonna set aside that time. And that's great. And I think it's good to have these goals and to set them. But if you struggle with imposter syndrome, it can be very easy to be paralyzed when you realize that you're a beginner, you might not know everything you're doing, and to feel like a faker the first time you talk to the camera. I mean, the camera is like, it's something you really have to get used to, being authentic and not feeling fake and phony when talking to people who aren't there with you right now, who are there with you metaphorically, who will be there with you eventually. Hello, I'm glad to be with you, by the way. And that can feel very fake at first, until you've put yourself out there and people have responded and you get kind of that back and forth with your audience. And what's interesting is that it's great to talk to yourself and do that, but you really have to go through the motions and do the actions in order to signal to yourself, okay, I'm a YouTuber, I'm doing this. And that's going to mean making videos and doing things on YouTube when you don't feel like you know what you're doing exactly, when you're still figuring it all out. You're gonna have to fake it till you make it. Now, don't be a fake version of yourself. It's good to be authentic, all of that, but I think until you've had that lived experience, until you've done it a bunch, it's not gonna feel the way it will eventually. I can tell you from personal experience, I've been doing this for about a year now, and at the beginning it was so anxiety provoking and I hated every minute of it, but now it's pretty chill, like just talking to you guys, it's fine. I actually enjoy talking to you guys. Like, it's very satisfying to get out a point of view and to make that connection with people. When you actually do something, when you fake it, when you do those reps where you feel fake, when you have imposter syndrome, you're sending yourself a strong message about what kind of person you are, what kind of person you're becoming. It's stronger than anything that you would achieve through self-affirmation or vision boards or any of those things that people use to kind of map their growth. Doing the thing, even if you're struggling with imposter syndrome. And by going through those motions, even if they don't feel natural or comfortable to you at first, and they probably won't, you're sending a strong message to yourself and providing yourself strong evidence that you are that kind of person. It has a much bigger impact than vision boards or affirmations or any of that. If you actually do the thing, if you go through those motions, regardless of any doubt or anxiety you're feeling while you're doing it, you eventually will come much closer to becoming the thing. Regardless of what's going on in your head, regardless of any stories you're telling yourself, whether you're able to puff yourself up confidence-wise or whether you're riddled with doubt, the practice, the actions, the reps help you to become that person. It doesn't matter whether you feel like the real deal before doing it, while you're doing it, after doing it, you will become the real deal by pushing through that anxiety and that uncertainty and that worry that you don't know what you're doing, that you're fake, any of that stuff. So bottom line, keep going. Imposter syndrome feels really scary, but it is not the final judgment on how good and effective you are going to be at this. Fake it till you make it. Go through the motions. Signal to yourself that you can do this, and you will. Anyway, it's been great talking to you as always. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.